Okay, we are in the Mishnah, Tanis 2a. And what does Tanis mean? Tanit means to fast, fasting. And this is in the Mishnah under the order of Sefer Moed. So the laws of Moed. And the Mishnah starts with a question. It says, Me'emasai. Me'emasai mazkirin gevaros gashamim. When do we begin to mention the powers of rain? And it begins with Rabbi Eliezer Omer. Our Eliezer says, Meyom Tov Harishon Shel Chag. On the first of Yom Tov, of the festival, the first day of Sukkot. So it begins with the question, Me'emasai, when? When do we begin to mention the powers of rain? But why does it start off with mentioning the powers of rain with no introduction or nothing? It just begins to say, when do we mention the powers of rain? How do you start like this? And it's because it's continuing off of another Mishnah. It's continuing from Mishnah Berachot 5:2, where the discussion of rain begins. But here we start the Mishnah in the laws of Moed. Why Moed and why not continuing in Brachot, which is all about agriculture? And so there's a discussion of this, and it says, Rabbi Eliezer comes with a view. When do we begin to mention the powers of rain? And what do they mean? When did we begin to mention the powers of rain? That is the prayer that we add in the Shemoni Ezra with Gevarot. We say this certain request. We actually pray for rain, and as we go on, we'll see. And our Eliezer says we mention this Yom Tov Harishon Shel Chag, on the first Yom Tov of the festival. It says Chag. How do we know it's referring to Sukkot? This is where Chag is only introduced as Sukkot. Well, other holy days like Pesach, Rosh Hashanah, it'll say these specific holy days. But here it says Chag, referring to Sukkot. Our Yehoshua says, so then it goes into our Yehoshua here, and he says, Mayom Tov Ha'acharon Shel Chag, on the last Yom Tov of the festival, i.e. Shemini Atzeret. So our Yehoshua challenges our Eliezer's position. And our Yehoshua says, Amar lo Rabbi Yehoshua, our Yehoshua said to Eliezer, Ho'il ve'ein hagashim ela siman kalala bechag. Since rain on the festival of Sukkot is nothing but a sign of a curse, for it exempts one from the mitzvah of Sukkah. Lama hu maschir. So why should one mention rain on Sukkot? Amar lo Rabbi Eliezer. Our Eliezer replied to him. It says, Afani lo amarti lishol. Even I did not say that one is to request rain during Sukkot by reciting the phrase and give dew and rain for a blessing. Ela lahazkir mashiva ruach omarid hagashim be'onaso. Only that one is to mention God's rain-giving power by reciting the phrase. He makes the wind blow and he makes the rain fall, which is a praise of God for bringing rain in its due season after Sukkot. So our Eliezer says we mention it on the first day of Sukkot, Our Yehoshua says we mention it on the last day. And he says, and he continues, our Yehoshua said to our Eliezer, in Cain, if so, that the mention of God's rain-giving power with the phrase he makes the rain fall does not imply a request for immediate rain. Leolam Yehei Maschir. One should mention it at all times, even in the summer. And we come, the Mishnah rules, Ein Sho'alin Es Hagashim Ela Samuch Lagashim. We do not request rain except for close to the rainy season. We do not begin to mention the powers of rain until the last day of the festival of Shemini Atzeret, which immediately precedes the rainy season. The Mishnah presents a third option. It says, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda, who is Rabbi Yehuda? He is actually a student of our Akiva, and he comes along around a generation and a half later. Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yehoshua were actually just after the generation after the second temple destruction. And so our Yehuda says, Ha'over lifnei Hateva Bayom Tov Ha'acharon Shel Chag, the one who goes before the ark to lead the prayers on the last Yom Tov of the festival, on Shemini Atzeret, the Chazan, when he comes on the last day of the festival, Ha'acharon Maschir, the latter one who leads the Musaf service, mentions the power of rain. So now he's being more specific that it's actually at when during the Musaf service that we mentioned the powers of rain. Harishon Eno Maschir, but the first one who leads Shachrit service does not mention the powers of rain. And so our Yehuda proceeds to teach at what point in the year one ceases to mention the powers of rain. By Yom Tov Harishon Shel Pesach, on the first Yom Tov of Pesach, Harishon Maschir, the first one who leads the Shachri service, mentions the power of rain. Ha'acharon Eno Maschir, but the latter one who leads the Musaf service does not mention the powers of rain. So actually, it's the Ramah and the Orech Chaim Kuf Yud Daled, the Minhag for Ashkenaz. The people actually stop asking for rain after Musaf. But you see, here Rabbi Yehuda actually gives us the halakha that's mentioned in the Siddur during the prayers. This is just a little, just a beginning of the reading of the Mishnah. I'm going to go through tractate ANIS, through the whole entire tractate, and just studying through it. And you're welcome to read along with me and learn. We're going to find out why is mentioning the rain a curse. Why is it, what's really going on? Our Eliezer is really just saying, I'm just saying we're mentioning the words of rain during Sukkot, but not actually requesting rain, where Rabbi Yehoshua is taking a different side of the argument, a different perspective, and we're going to see how the Mishnah relates to this, and then how the Gemara comes in and give us more. And you see, and it's interesting that the Mishnah starts off with a question, Me'e Masai. Actually, it says, Tana Hecha Kai. To what does our Tana refer to? This is what the Gemara begins with. What is the Tana referring to here? Tana Hecha Kai, which actually means where. The Tana, the ones that are brought the Mishnah, they're saying, where does it stand? Where does it stand? And just like how it begins, when do we mention the powers of rain? This is also the same kind of wording that is alluded to in Brachot 2b, where they say, when do we recite the Shema? And so this is just a beginning of what I plan on going through, the study of Tractate ANIS. So welcome to join. Everyone have a good week. Shavua Tov. Take care.